So, um, hi, and welcome to the webinar on how to manifest cool stuff in 6 months. My name is Denise Mortimer, and I'm going to take you through this webinar. We'll be together for probably the next 35, maybe 40 minutes, and at the end, I'll give you an opportunity to ask me some questions. One of the things I want to make clear is that I am not a law of attraction guru. I am not like anything like that. I am just an ordinary girl who created some extraordinary results in the last year, and more particularly in the last 6 months. So why did I decide to do this webinar? Because if you are like me at all, as soon as you get some new information that is something useful, you just can't wait to share it with the world. So that's where I am tonight, sharing all my information that I have gathered and disseminated. You know, doing it, my master's degree was really useful because I used a process called thematic analysis to gather all my information. And you know, this is something that I use all the time now, thematic analysis, to assess how I get the results that I get. So through the process of thematic analysis, I've distilled the action that I took into 6 particular things that can be done to achieve amazing results. If you have any questions or any comments, go over to the chat box and have a conversation with me, or just say hi, or just say I'm melting, or just say you love me, or whatever you want to say. So why am I doing this webinar? Because some people think that they are exempt from the law of attraction. They don't fully understand what the law of attraction is about and how it works. So I used to think this. I used to think that I was like exempt from it. I'm like, why can other people manifest stuff and I can't? Also, some people think that good stuff and good luck is reserved for other people and not for themselves. Now, go and give me a wave, or give me a yes in the chat box if you've watched the film The Secret. The film. Have you watched the DVD? Have you listened to The Secret? And The Secret makes you believe, like, one of the things that The Secret fails to tell us is that you have to actually take action. So Nicolette is saying she has the book. Let me see what else is happening in the chat box. Yeah, read the book. Yeah, amazing. So one of the things that The Secret doesn't tell us is that, you know, the law of attraction, the word action is included in attraction, and it fails to tell us that we need to actually take action. So they kind of lead you to believe that, you know, you say, hey, I want a Ferrari, and then like you go to sleep for a year and you wake up and there's a Ferrari in your driveway. It doesn't quite work like this. So I'm going to tell you how I manifested. And again, I just want to reiterate that this is like purely experimental for me. I set these wheels in motion. I set these intentions, and they actually happen for me. So the other reason I'm doing this webinar is people simply don't realize how much power they have to create what they want. And I want to demonstrate to you that, you know, I was a woman who was working in an NHS job. The NHS didn't suit me. I love the NHS as an institution. I think it is one of the finest things that the United Kingdom has ever produced, but working in the NHS wasn't for me. And I had a longing in my heart, and I really didn't know how to make that manifest, but I did. And as soon as I listened to the calling of my heart, everything worked in my favor. And I honestly believe the universe conspires in your favor when you're doing what you're called to do. So what did I create in 12 months? You're dying to know, aren't you? First, what I want you to know about me is that I am 53 years old, so I'm not a spring chicken. This is not like, you know, I've got youth on my side, and you know, I can't say, you know, I'm young, and you can't say she's young and she's got all this energy and all this possibility. You know, I'm on the other side of life, and this is about my business. And I want you to know that I didn't have anything that even resembled a business until a year and a half ago. And also what I want you to know is that I spent a long time reading about the law of attraction and just hoping that something would change. Somehow thinking just by like osmosis, like reading the book would mean that reading the book or listening, reading books, listening to videos and stuff like that, suddenly life was going to change. And aside from my delightful personality, exceptional intellect, and humor, I'm no different from anybody else. So now I'm going to talk to you about what I created over the last 12 months. Now, this might not be astounding to you, but it's astounding to me. So if it doesn't surprise you, then you're a better person than me. So this is me. So I started working with a business mentor. Well, I've worked with a few, but the one that I chose to work with last July, literally a year ago, almost a year to the day, it was the biggest investment I ever made in myself. And that was when the magic started. So the first manifestation was that I needed $10,000 to work with my mentor. So I manifested $10,000 to work with my mentor. Now, I didn't manifest this because I had it. I manifested it. I put it on a credit card, but I still manifested it. I found a way to do it. So during my first month with my mentor, I landed my first 2,400 pound client. To me, this was the biggest single most high paying client I'd ever had. And then I managed to go to a retreat in California, which I didn't think I was going to be able to afford because I just invested $10,000 in my business mentor. And then the next thing that happened from January 2018 to July 2018, this is what happened. This is what I sort of sat down and did my analysis of the other day. I sold my first high ticket program, which is a business mentoring program for women wanting to move to online businesses. I went to a retreat in South Africa. Again, all of these things are like, am I going to have money? Am I going to have money? Am I going to have money? Like money was the sort of issue behind it all. I managed a trip to Rome, Iceland, and a road trip with a Thelma and Louise type road trip without the grisly ending with my sisters. And that was just in June. I was featured in Forbes as a female entrepreneur to watch in 2018. Now remember, I'm 53 years old. I'm not a spring chicken, and I'm new onto the scene. And I managed to get a mention in Forbes as an emerging female entrepreneur to watch. I got a special mention in Huffington Post as one to watch in 2018. I became a contributor to a magazine called One Tribe Magazine. I've been pursued by a number of people to be on their podcasts. First, I was looking for them. Now they come looking for me. I've collaborated with some of the coolest people. I've had people who I was holding in very high esteem coming and looking for me. And then my most remarkable achievement is that on the 1st of January, 2018, I said that I wanted to have, by June, I wanted to have 30 clients and I wanted to create a 90,000 pound income. Oh, it gives me chills to even think about it. And so as I stand today, since the 5th of February, actually I launched my program on the 5th of February, I have to date 34 clients. Some of them have finished with me because they came in as one-to-one clients. And I have created just over 100,000 pound income. What I mean over 100,000 pound income, it's not money that's sitting in my bank. You have to remember that I have also invested. I invested, now it's probably 30, maybe 35,000 pound. I've invested about 35,000 pound. And I invested this money before I knew I was going to get a return on it. You have to have some level of faith in yourself that you're going to make it happen. So I had to put the money up front before I got the result. But the fact is now that looking at my spreadsheet of clients, 34 clients and an income, which I think is now just exceeded 100,000 pound in the space. Actually, the 100,000 pound was in the space of 6 months. So that's what I achieved. I became an Amazon bestseller as well. I participated in a book, which was a bestseller. I had a radio show on my local radio station, and I also produced my own ebook called 21 Days to happier ways. I've done countless webinars and loads of other things as well. But to me, these were the most remarkable achievements. And now I'm going to go through my 6-step plan. So give me a thumbs up if this is interesting, if you're going to stick around with me till the end, because I don't know if this is interesting to you or not. This was just me looking at what I did over the years. So let me know if you're interested in hearing the rest. Cool, amazing, fantastic. Thank you, Nicoletta. Because I don't want to bore you. I want to give you some stuff that you can get your teeth into. Defo, yeah, awesome, excellent, great. Okay, I am encouraged. I'm going to move on now. So, brilliant. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. So what most people don't know is that nobody is exempt from the law of attraction. We are attracting every element of our life, whether we know it or not. Every single thing that is happening to us is a direct relationship to our thoughts. Our thoughts are things. Our thoughts create our feelings. Our feelings are translated into our behaviors. Our behaviors then influence the outcome that we get. So every single thing begins with a thought. So it's about mastering your thoughts. And I don't know, I put some cosmos pictures in there, but I wanted to make it look spooky and spiritual. So, so there you go. So stick with me till the end. This was not going to be anything, to sell anything, but I thought I'll make you an offer at the end. If anyone wants to have a conversation with me, if you're not already working with me, and if there's something that you want to figure out, I'm going to make you an offer at the end to have a conversation with me. So stick with me till the end and we'll go through that. So this is my 6-point guide for manifesting. It may come as a surprise to you, and it may not come as a surprise to you. And it's actually pretty basic stuff. So first and foremost is about creating a vision for yourself. You want to be able to see where you're going. So many people are hung up on the past and worrying about, what are people going to think of me, that they fail to create that vision. So I had a vision for myself. I put it down on paper. The big one for me was that I was going to, actually, I'm going to backtrack a little bit more. I'm going to backtrack to July 2017. And when I started working with my mentor, I created something called a desire statement. And this was my desire statement that I made, dated the 15th of July, 2017. I desire to earn £10,000 per month by the 31st of December, 2017, in return for delivering my highest service to women as a positive psychologist and NLP master coach. And then it goes on and on and on. And let me tell you, when I created, to me at that time, £10,000 seemed like a really lot of money. And I had no idea if I was going to create it. However, by early January, I had my first £10,000 month. So I missed my deadline of the 31st of December, but it wasn't more than a couple of weeks before I hit my first £10,000 month. So I had the vision for myself. I held that vision, and although I had wobbly moments and self-doubt, I kept to it. The second thing was that, I found a mentor who could help me make it happen. The company that you keep is going to influence the results you get. You may not like to hear that because maybe you need to change some of the people you're hanging around with, or you need to upgrade some of them. And that's the harsh truth, that you may need to think about the people that you're hanging around with and limit time with people who are naysayers and disbelievers. So, also, you need to work on your mindset daily. Now, most of us would not dream of leaving the house without brushing our teeth or fixing our hair, but we go out without doing something to make sure that our mind is in tip-top shape. So I'm going to talk to you about that as well. And the next point is about taking massive action. It's about looking for opportunities and jumping on them, like embracing them. And what I say to my clients is like, go tell people who you are until they're asking for you by name. So to me, it's massive action is like, if I see someone running a podcast and they look like a really cool person, guess what? I'm going to be in their inbox saying, hey, I'd love to be on your podcast, and opening up a relationship with them. The fifth thing is to allow things to come to you. And I'm going to talk more about that a little bit later. And the sixth thing, which might even be the most important one, it's about doing everything from a place of alignment. You need to be aligned with what you're doing. If you are chasing somebody else's dream, like, be honest with me, put your hand up if you ever look at someone else and go, I wish I had what they had. Like, we do that, don't we? We compare ourselves to other people and we want things that other people have, and we get jealous, and we will never succeed if we are chasing somebody else's dream. So it's about us being aligned with what is right for us. So now I'm going to go through each point, 1 point at a time. So, creating a vision for yourself. Have a vision. A vision is the ability to see the invisible. If you can see the invisible, you can achieve the impossible. And this is what I always say, everything happens twice, once in your head and once in the physical world. Now, when January came around, and I was afraid to tell people about my 10,000 pound goal, my 10,000 pound a month goal, which started in July and was going to end in December, because I was scared I wasn't going to achieve it. But then once I achieved that, I started telling people, like anyone in the business world who would listen, I was like, I'm going to have 30 clients and I'm going to make 90,000 pounds by June. And I'm like, I was just like, how the hell am I going to do this? How on earth am I going to make this happen? But I kept doing my webinars. I kept establishing my expert positioning amongst my peers by knowing the problems that my clients were having and being able to resolve them. And it just completely just stepped my positioning up higher and higher and higher. So the vision got stronger and stronger and stronger over time. So get a clear vision for what you want to do. If you haven't got a clear vision, have some sort of vision and trust and work on it like on a weekly basis, and it will start to materialize more and more. And another thing that I do with my business mentor, which is what I do with my business, my mentees now, as well as we always mark out what we're going to achieve that week. So we're always keeping that vision at the forefront of our mind. And I just did an exercise the other day with my business mentor in my group, where I took the first ever steps that I put, the steps to success that I ever submitted, and my last steps to success I ever submitted. And the difference was really pronounced because I was a novice. I didn't know what I was doing. And then suddenly I knew what I was doing. So it was amazing to see that transition. So create that vision for yourself. So have you got a vision for yourself? Go over to the chat box and just say yes if you have a vision for yourself already. The second thing is to find a mentor who can make it happen. So keep company with movers and shakers. You want to hang around with people who are amazing. So yeah, Lorna is saying yes. Yasmin is saying yes. Fabulous. Find a mentor who can make it happen. One of the scariest decisions I made was investing in a mentor. And it's what I do now because I love doing it. I absolutely see the value of it. But if you currently, like whatever field you're in, if you haven't got a mentor, either you're paying someone or someone who's doing it on a voluntary basis with you, it's really important to have one. You are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And let me tell you, like my business mentor, all the women in there are high achievers. Everyone's going for 6-7 figure incomes. And I wasn't going to be the one that was not in that same league. So it wasn't competing with them in terms of their business, but it was just the company I was keeping that. And these are some of the women who are on the mentorship program. I'm kind of hidden there. You can see me. I'm the second in from the right, but this was us in Cape Town, South Africa. And, hanging around with people who have big visions, it's going to rub off on you. If you're hanging around with naysayers and disbelievers, that's going to rub off on you. You cannot not be impacted by other people's energy. You will be affected by people, whether you think so or not. So be careful who you're hanging around with. Choose people. You can choose people who are working at a higher level than you. You can choose people who are at the same level of you, like you're growing together. Or you can also hang around with people who have big aspirations, but you're maybe a step ahead of them and you can be helping them. But make sure that you're hanging around with at least one person in each of those categories so that you can be growing and learning all the time. If you've got any questions, do just ask away. And then working on your mindset daily. Like I said earlier, you wouldn't leave the house without making sure that your physical appearance is up to scratch. Why would you go out without making sure that your mind is prepared for the day? So I'm going to talk about some mindset practices that you can do on a daily basis. Again, this is something I do with all my mentees. I invite them to start a daily practice. So some of the things that you can do is create a morning routine. If you've not read the book called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, I highly recommend it. So one of the things I do every day is I set intentions. This is what's going to happen today. I do a meditation. Sometimes I do two because I do like to be obsessive about things. Express gratitude for all of the blessings in your life. And I have a mantra, my personal mantra that I recite every day. Plus I have a prayer that I recite every day. And I also move my body. So these are the things that I do to work on my mindset. And around, so some of the things are around, gratitude, focusing on what I want, like that cover of Fortune magazine there, like I'll be on there one day. Meditation, I listen to my YouTubes. There I am holding my edition of Forbes when I was featured in Forbes. And there's my best-selling book, She Made It Happen. And then taking massive action. And this is where some people get really scared. You've got to tell people who, I believe this, and you can dispute this with me if you like, and I don't mind, but I believe you have to tell people who you are, because there's so much noise out there. There's so much vying for people's attention that you need to be willing to tell people who you are and claim your expert status. And here's the thing. There's so few people. It really is lonely in the extra mile. When you go the extra mile, you don't find many people who go the extra mile. So when you go the extra mile, people will notice that. So take massive action. Proactively seek opportunities. Like I said, get on podcasts. Do joint interviews with people on Facebook Lives. Do Instagram stories. Do Instagram interviews. Invest in yourself. Invest in something that's going to expand your growth, expand your mind, help you grow your business. If it's business that you're looking to grow, and be seen where it matters. Be seen where the people are that you want to connect with, where your tribe might be. It might be in the online world. It might be in physical settings, turning up at networking meetings, or some other thing that I'm missing. And here's one of the other things. Get over your fear of judgment. They say most people have a fear of public speaking, and that fear is about being judged by other people. And what I encourage you to think about is that, people don't like you anyway. There are people that don't like me, and that's cool. That's fine. It doesn't really matter to me. The people who like me and get me end up working with me, or end up being my friends, or end up coming to my webinars. So not everybody's going to like you, and that's totally cool. So I really encourage you to get over your fear of judgment, because it doesn't, what's the worst somebody's negative judgment is going to do? And the truth is, if someone has got time to sit back and negatively judge you, I would suspect they really need to get on with their life a little bit. I wouldn't worry about what other people think. Like right now, if you left the webinar, I'd be disappointed you didn't stay till the end. But it's really cool if you don't get me and you don't get my webinar and what I'm about. And Joyce is saying that's correct. We are not for everyone. Totally. That's totally. And it's like finding your people, and everybody has their people. And this is another thing to do. It's like you put out a call, and I don't mean put a billboard, 3 billboards saying, putting a call out to your people, but you can do like a divine call to your people, with your palms upturned, just being like, universe, I'm ready to receive my people. I'm open. I'm ready to serve, and I'm ready to receive my people. And just state that intention to the universe. And the final thing here is be confident in pursuit of your dreams. Like failing wasn't an option for me. I'll tell you a secret though. In the back of my mind, I kind of thought, well, I've invested this $10,000 in my mentor. If it goes horribly wrong, well, what's the worst that can happen? If I never get another job again, we'll add $10,000 to the mortgage and we'll pay it off. If you go to the worst case scenario, chances are it's not even half as bad as you think it is. So why not just be confident in pursuit of your dreams? If you have something calling you inside, it's not like, it's actually rude if you don't pursue it and allow people to experience you in full flow, what you do best, because that's what you're here to do. You're not here to get stuck into a 9 to 5, unless that absolutely, you love that and that's what you're cut out to do. But unless you absolutely love that, that's not what you're meant for. You're meant to be doing that thing that's in your heart, that calling. Maybe it's singing, maybe it's dancing, maybe it's mentoring people, maybe it's, creating works of art, maybe it is doing numbers, like sorting people's accounts out. But do that thing that sets your soul on fire, and be proud of what sets your soul on fire. And when people say, oh, the market is saturated, I dispute that completely, because there's only one version of you. There's only ever one you doing that thing, and there's no one who's going to do it quite in the way you do it. So the market is never saturated, and your people, the souls who are assigned to you, are not going to escape you. So if you're speaking to someone and they don't become a client, and they become a client to someone else, that soul was assigned to that other person. They weren't meant for you. But if you are in a service industry, there are people who are assigned to you. If you believe that you are meant to be serving, there are people who are assigned to you. Hold your hands up to the universe and ask the universe to deliver you the people who are assigned to you. Does that make sense? And so this is some of the stuff about me taking action. So, I've got, what I wanted to demonstrate here is the bottom middle photo is the Launchpad. That's my program that I run. Then I've got my ebook in the corner, and that cover photo was taken in Italy. And then the photo above that of me laughing, holding my glasses, that was taken in California. And then the one of me in a dress on the left-hand side under the word webinar was taken in Cambridge. And then the one below that was taken in South Africa. This is like, to me, this represents like my travels, the things that I've done, the places I've been, the dreams that I've made real. So the next thing is this is one of the hardest parts. Let go of the attachment to the outcome and act as if. Now, tell me if you are guilty of saying, I need to get more clients. I need to make more money. I need to find a partner. I need, right? We do this. Yes, who does the need thing? Because I do it too. I sometimes forget to watch my language. When we say I need or I must, the message that we're giving the universe is that we currently do not have that. So it's coming from a place of lack. And the only thing that you can attract is more lack. So we communicate to the universe through our feelings. So if we're feeling lack, even if you're looking in the mirror doing a mantra saying, I have loads of money, I have loads of money, I have loads of money, but inside you're feeling lack, the universe picks up on your vibrational energy. We're just vibrating energy. So the universe picks up on that. So it's getting into becoming a vibrational match for the thing that you want. And it is about pretending. And the reason I put a picture of Jim Carrey there is because there's a well-known story that Jim Carrey used to drive down somewhere in California, like the celebrity neighborhood, and sit in front of a house and just imagine himself owning that house. And I understand he also wrote himself a check for $10 million. And then eventually he got a check for $10 million for, I think, a film like Dumb and Dumber it was. Who was dumber there? But he held the vision. He acted as if he were already there. I encourage you to act like the person who has all the money they desire, who has all the clients they desire, who has the love in their life that they desire, who has the health and the fitness level that they desire. You will carry yourself differently. When you carry yourself differently, your vibration will start to reflect how you're carrying yourself. You have to let go of the attachment. It's the trickiest part. It's like, it would be really nice to have this money. I'm going to act as if I already have it. And that's when it actually comes, not when you're saying, I need, I must have. So pretend that you have the man or the woman of your dreams. pretend that you energetically, feel energetic and healthy, and you'll start to notice a shift taking place inside of you. So I want you to let go of the attachment, the most difficult thing, because people go, I'll let go of the attachment to money as soon as the universe delivers me money. But here, I want you to understand this. I invested my money in my mentor, and I didn't see a return on that really until it probably took 6 months before I was able to start paying that back. But during that time, I spent probably 80% of that time acting as if I was the person who was going to create that. If I'd acted as the person who was in a place of lack, I would have just created more lack. And don't get me wrong, I've had my meltdown moments where I was like, I can't do this, I can't do this. And this is where I want to reiterate the importance of having a mentor, because even I have meltdowns where I think I can't go on and I've got this wrong. But here's the big but. When you have somebody there who believes in you, especially someone who can say to you, I've done that, I understand, and I'm on the other side of it. Take my hand, I'm taking you with me. It's absolutely amazing. Like, going solo is just not for me anymore. I vow at this point in my life to continue working with a mentor until I feel like, my global brand is riding on its own wave. And that's my intention. That's where I'm going, global. So does that make sense? Let go of attachment, act as if. And as we're sitting here and I look ahead of me in front of my computer screen, I've got my Forbes article in front of me. I have a check for £1 million in front of me. I have my mantra in front of me. I have my daily gratitudes in front of me. I have the amount of money that I want to earn in front of me. So right in front of me on my laptop every day, that is what's being fed to my subconscious. What is being fed to your subconscious? And the next thing is allow things to come to you. And this is really important because I'm going to talk a little bit more about the ebb and flow of life. So we want something because we haven't got it. Then we bargain with the universe. Give it to me, then I'll be happy. But we need to be in a vibrational match for it. And we have to be ready. When we are the vibrational match for it, then it can come to us. Then we can allow it to come to us. I'm sorry. Oh, it's cutting out now and again. Sorry about that. I can see it. Let me move to a different room. We haven't got much more to go through, but I will take this. I'll take this webinar to a different room and see if I can keep a stable connection. Apologies about that. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, so another part of manifestation is allowing things to come to you. Now, we can't always be like, there is a natural cycle to things. Sometimes we're creating and sometimes we're reflecting. So sometimes you have to sit back, and when you've put in all the hard work, you cannot things will without a doubt come to you. When you're putting the effort, you will reap what you sow. So I'm going to talk more about allowing in a minute when we go through the ebb and flow. So ebb and flow, there's a rhythm to life. And I cannot tell you how important this is, because when you're building, especially if you're building a business, you want progress all the time. You want to be moving. But we can't be moving forward all the time. Sometimes we have to pull back. And this is what the ebb is. The tide comes in and then the tide goes out. And sometimes your tide is going out, and it's about being cool with that. Because I know some of my biggest meltdowns over the year have been when I'm not cool. I want to be in the flow, but I'm in the ebb. And then what happens after the ebb is I have my biggest breakthroughs. But when I'm in the ebb, I don't want to be in the ebb. But I encourage you to embrace the ebb. Embrace the ebb. Embrace that time when you have to pull back. You have to withdraw. You're not always going to be in flow. And just sit with it and be good with being in the ebb, because the flow will come again. I get scared. I'm like, am I ever going to be in the flow again? But the flow does come again. Is this making sense? Sorry. Is this all making sense to you? Give me a yes, ma'am, if this is making sense. And then let's talk about, we reap what we sow. Sometimes we're reaping and sometimes we are sowing. So I'm just going to go over to the chat box and check if everyone is, yes, ma'am. Awesome. Okay. So we reap what we sow. If we plant rubbish, we're going to grow rubbish. If we plant good things, we're going to get good things. So be careful what you're planting, because you can only get what you plant. So put good things in the ground. But here's the other thing. When you plant that seed, you can't stand over it and go, grow, you bastard, grow. You can't make it grow. You can do everything around it. You can nourish the soil. You can make sure it's watered. You can make sure it gets enough sunlight. You can make sure that, predators don't come and dig it up. You do everything to take care of that seed, and then the seed will take care of itself. It will grow into something amazing. So that's about you having that desire inside of you and you taking all of that action. It's about taking that massive action, fearlessly taking action in pursuit of your dreams, and you will start to reap the benefits of it. And then finally, it's about alignment. Alignment is everything. And I made this little ditty up. If it's divine and mine, it will align. And this is so true. You cannot manifest what is not meant for you. If you are looking at someone else's lawn and envying their lawn and wanting their lawn, it's not for you. The more you step into who you truly are and own the essence of you, the more you will be able to manifest the things that are meant for you. I've spent so much time with manifestation envy, looking at other people's stuff. I want to be running retreats in exotic locations. I want to be writing a book. I want to be doing this. I want to be doing that. And actually, when I sit back and think, what am I called to do? For some reason tonight, I'm called to do this webinar. Hopefully that, you folks who are watching are getting some value from it. I was called to do this. I'm called to be a business mentor at the moment. A few years ago, I was called to be a stand-up comedian. A few years before that, I was called to upcycle furniture. So it's like listening to the things that you're called to do. Stop comparing. Stay focused on your own stuff. Ask yourself, does this align for me? Like if you're looking enviously at someone else, think, does this align for me? Is this actually what I want? And then listen, because we get so disconnected from our inner wisdom and we listen so much to the outer world. But do some meditation, sit quietly and listen to what your internal voice says, your internal GPS says when you ask the question, does this align for me? We have a gut instinct. We have a sixth sense about things. Get more connected with that. It won't steer you wrong. The more you listen to it, the more astute it will become at guiding you. So we're coming towards the end, and I just want to reiterate that you cannot not make progress putting these things in place. Create a vision for yourself, find a mentor who can make it happen, keep company with the movers and shakers in your industry, work on your mindset daily, take massive action, allow things to come to you, and do everything from a place of alignment. If it doesn't align, ditch it. Ditch the things that do not work for you. So now I invite you to think about, what do you want to create? Do you want to create, do you want to be an authority and have a best-selling book? Do you want to create a community? Do you want to be featured in magazines? Do you want to have a lifestyle where you're walking on the beach like these people? Do you want to be, connecting with people? What is it you want to create for yourself? And start to develop that. What have you been scared to do? What have you been putting off? And what excuses have you been telling yourself? I encourage you to ask yourself these questions. And what are you willing to do now that's different? And so, as I said, I wanted to share with you something tonight, but I also want to offer you, if anyone feels inclined to have a 45-minute manifesting strategy call with me, I'm happy to go through what you might need to do different to get yourself all lined up so that you can manifest the things that you want. You can see there's nothing like crazy or mystical about it. It's like practical things that you put in place, but you need to believe it's going to happen. So if you'd like one of these calls, I only want to speak to people who are ready to take some sort of action, who are committed to making some sort of change and who don't let self-doubt rule their life. I don't want to speak to anyone who's not committed to following through on their dreams. I'm going to come over to the chat box. My absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. And so if you do want to have one of these calls with me, one of the things three of the things that we're going to discover is the mindset that you need to achieve your goals. So I can do a quick analysis of where you are with your mindset. We'll set up a manifesting strategy for you and identify what's true for you. So, and what I mean about what's true for you is, like, I once had a conversation with a girl who wanted a job just because she didn't want someone else to get the job. That's really not the right reason. So let's find out what's true for you and get you in the direction of your dreams. So if you want to just go to the chat box. If you want to have a conversation with me, secure a space. I do have limited time. I have a big cohort of women that I work with as my mentees. But if anyone would like one of these 45-minute sessions with me, I would love to have a 45-minute session with you. I'm just going to go to the chat box. I need help with what is true for me. Yeah, cool. Okay, fantastic. So I think you are all connected with me on Facebook. So immediately after this, can you send me a message on Facebook and we will arrange a call. So this is amazing. Fantastic. And remember, clarity is king. When you have clarity, you can move in the direction of your dreams effortlessly and easily. Just going to go back over to the chat box. Sorry, my mouse is not working now. Yasmina, yeah, we're going to speak. We're going to speak together so we can have a conversation about this. Clarity is absolutely king. My absolute pleasure. Thank you, beautiful ladies, for being here tonight. And yes, absolutely act now. Places are limited. If you want to have one of the calls, just message me on Facebook now. I'll be on Facebook immediately after this, and we'll set up a time to have a conversation. The last thing that I want to say to you is that you are all powerful beyond what you can even imagine, and go out, live your most amazing life ever. I believe in you. Let my belief in you take you forward. If you have not got belief in yourself, and if you want to work with me as a mentor, I'd love to as well. Thank you so much for joining me. I bid you all goodbye, and I look forward to the messages from the ladies who would like to have a call with me. Ciao for now. Oh, any questions? Does anyone have questions? If you have questions, you can ask me. I did say I'd let you have some questions. So if there's anything you want to ask, do feel free to just go to the chat box. And I will assume that there are no questions, so I'm going to say good night. Good night, amazing beauties.